Hello, everybody. We are here in part 3 of Bosmer Sneaky Archer with Skyrim Requiem. And this episode is heavily involved in the Thieves Guild quest. And the RP logic here is Arundel has been clearing bandits around here, looting things, but hears about some sort of easy money out in Riften. And so that's where she's headed. I just gotta say before we get to everything,
Need a ride?
definitely had a horseshoe up my ass this entire episode. I should have died 20 times over, but you know, thanks to the beef stew, actually, the beef stew probably saved me more times than I can count. A little bit of fluke. There's a moment in the previous playthrough, or episode rather, where I sort of suggest that there's something that I might want to try, but in my head it sounded a little too silly, so I didn't say it. But I said, you know, I might get into one-handed and blocking.
She's all yours. She's already set.
And to me it just seemed like contradictory to everything I've been saying about how a sneaky archer should never be detected, a sneaky archer should never get hit, you don't need blocking, you don't need evasion, you don't need one-handed. And this episode sort of proves all of that is bullshit. I mean, yeah, you don't. If you're playing a sneaky archer properly, which I didn't in this episode, you probably don't need any of those things. But I definitely needed all of those things in this episode because there's a hell of a lot of combat coming up. And this episode is basically all combat all the time. And it's just a lot of it is where my cover's blown. There's nowhere to escape or hide. And it's just you know, fight or die basically. So yeah, the one-handed combat is actually pretty fun. It's difficult because I don't know all of the techniques yet, but it definitely adds another element to the game that I've never tried before.
The gate's unlocked. You can head inside when you're ready.
I mean, I would say that if you're playing a pure Requiem mod with all the carry weight penalties that you incur from that mod, so I think when you start, your carry weight is a base of 100, and then you sort of work your way up from that as you level up, and you get a little bit more carry weight ability. That sort of all goes out the window because I use the mod Dr. Bandolier, which is packaged with Complete Crafting Overhaul Remade, and it gives my carry weight based on how many of these bandoliers and little pockets and little things that I add. It adds a substantial amount to my carry weight. And so in an essence there is a little bit of cheating going on.
Never done an honest day's work.
I don't know, cheating, but I'm just kind of using more carry weight than
I'm saying you've got the corner.
Requiem Overhaul intends you to have. So it's not that fair if you're playing a pure Requiem
All about sizing up your mark.
build.
The way they walk.
I get a little bit of advantage because you'd have to choose heavy bow,
Look how you sniffed out
light bow,
scheme at the North Gate.
or sword and shield. You can't have all those things, but I'm able to carry sword and shield for melee, heavy bow for sniping, light bow for maybe closer contact or as a backup bow, and crossbow, plus all the bolts, all the arrows. You just can't carry all that stuff with the vanilla Requiem carry weights. And I want to have choice. I like having the carry weight bonuses you get, but I am aware that it's making the
There's
game
someone that
easier
wants to
by
see
doing
you
that.
out of business permanently. That's all you need to know. I'll be out in the market all day, from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening. Meet me then, if you've still got the stomach for it. I'll be at the market come morning.
So that quest is always really bizarre to get for a very early level character, because without any pickpocketing skill, you always get caught. So I never do that quest. I just fail it immediately on purpose, and then make your way into the Ratway Warrens.
He wants his horse. Well, that's going to be a bit of a problem. See, I don't really outright own Frost. That is correct. You see,
You'll find
Frost
that
belongs to the Black
as this
Friars
playthrough
estate.
goes along, Arundel is
Technically,
not
everything in the estate is
at
owned
all
by my
impressed
mother,
by...
Maven. My plan was to take the horse from our lodge and deliver it to Latrush at the stable.
Yeah, she's not at all
Obviously,
impressed
that
by
didn't
these
exactly
braggart
work out as I'd
Nords.
planned. Still, I don't want to
All they
cross
seem to
the
do is make
Latrush.
threats.
Tell you what, steal the horse and deliver it, and you can have the second half of the payment. Sure, take advantage of the guy in jail. Okay, fine, I can make the deal sweeter. I obviously don't have anything here, but there's a hidden stash in the lodge, and I did manage to hold on to the key. Take it.
One interesting thing I've found is that in some instances I'm failing on the persuade check, even though my speech is 30, but I am succeeding on the intimidation check. So if I fail persuasion, I can still get what I want with the intimidation. I feel bad for the dialogue of this wife here. All she ever says is one single line over and over and over. It's all she gets to say is, Bercy will be the death of me, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of very shallow characters like this in Skyrim where I guess Bethesda just didn't want to add anything. Another example would be the Hunters. The Jarl's not going to miss this. I'm only poaching a little bit. They all say the same thing. They've only been every single hunter, all the hundreds of hunters throughout Skyrim, they're given like 2 lines. It's brutal. I always thought, you know, a good modder might want to do like a hunter dialogue overhaul.
I don't know. They skin us alive if they keep doing this.
So that was actually take 2. I didn't die, but what happened was I forgot to put the bestial stew and the beef stew on, and I ran out of stamina, and I lost my bow and took a lot of damage. I killed them both, but I just decided it made more sense just to reload the game and get the stews going properly. And anyway, it looks like Karma won the day anyway, because I lost another bow to a skeever. So I just lose bows left, right, and center in this game. I don't know where the skeever came from, but it's like skeevers are good for one thing, and that's destroying your bow.
Someone there? Thought I heard something.
I actually totally forgot about that guy. So you get those 3 little easy tasks to do to collect the money to get into the Thieves Guild, and I've already done that.
You're a stranger here too, huh?
Protect yourself right. Buy armor from Grelka.
Buying and selling fine jewelry here.
Buy some armor and live to...
Okay, so now I get into the Thieves Guild, and yeah, the bonus here is that I'm gonna get the Thieves Guild armor.
Mercer, this is the one I was talking about. Our new recruit.
This better not be another waste of the guild's resources.
Unlike the last playthrough where I had
Before we continue, I want to make one thing perfectly clear.
I had a battle mage in the companions quest line. She didn't fit whatsoever with those companions. Pure mage, and the companions are all sort of warriors, so it really didn't work out.
Good, then I think it's time we put your expertise to the test.
Whereas Arandel fits really well with the Thieves Guild.
All right, but if you get arrested, don't blame it on me.
Again, she wasn't impressed by being threatened by Mercer.
Yeah, I did.
In her
What
mind,
else? Wit.
threats are useless. You either do or you don't do it. You don't threaten somebody. And if anything, you don't say anything, and if they piss you off, you sneak in and you murder them in their sleep. That's how you deal with the situation. You don't tip them off. You don't threaten to hurt them. You don't make them even aware that you intend to kill them.
Protect yourself right. Buy armor from Grelka.
I actually walked towards the exit here before I realized that the Requiem overhaul has sort of barred up that exit there. There's no way to leave the city from that direction. It's kind of an interesting change. Anyway, there's some low-level bandits here, but one I know is an archer. And I wasn't really sure how to approach this, but I saw a bunch of Stormcloak soldiers kind of approaching, and I thought, if I aggro these bandits, then if they run towards me, these Stormcloak soldiers will get in the way and kind of act as a buffer. It seemed like a perfect plan. You can see what happens though is that the soldiers scatter, which is weird, but essentially if you go into the creation kit or TS5 edit, what you find is that every single character has a confidence check, and they have a, you know, if they're aggressive, cowardly, foolhardy, brave, all these things, right? So there's that check, and then the other check. Okay, so here's the one-handed shield. So there's the confidence check, but that's not the only important thing. I'm sure that the Stormcloak soldiers all have aggressive or foolhardy confidence. The issue here is that you have to be within a faction. So every single character in Skyrim is in a faction, as I'm sure you're aware. And based on what faction they're in, they'll help or not help you. So there's a designation to help. You can help friends and allies. You can help nobody. So I think a bear or a wolf will help nobody. They're not interested in helping in a combat situation. But so those Stormcloak soldiers were probably set to only help allies, and I'm not an ally, so they wouldn't help me. But you can see in that situation where bandits were firing arrows over their head, is highly unrealistic that they fled. They totally should have attacked that bandit. And in the past, I have downloaded a mod to use with Requiem, because some of the town guards will do the same thing. Actually, it happened in this playthrough early on. I don't think I recorded it, but a bandit chased me into Riverwood, and the guards did nothing. And I found that really frustrating. I actually played a Dead is Dead character where a necromancer chased me into the heart of Falkreath, right into the Jarl's Palace. And it wasn't until the necromancer actually killed me that you could hear that suddenly they went from neutral, because they weren't programmed to help me as an ally. They went from neutral to suddenly turning and killing the necromancer, because suddenly that was a threat to them. But until I was killed, the necromancer was not considered a threat to them. So it's just really sort of a flaw, I guess, a flaw in the mechanics of the game. Anyway, this isn't so much sneaky archer as it is taking advantage of terrain. I mean, you could see this as being cheap, I guess, but as a ranged fighter, if you don't take advantage of terrain, then you're not playing the character properly, I would say. You always want to try to find a place where you can snipe guys from a cliff where they can't reach you. Sounds like there's an asshole with his weed whacker outside making noise. I don't know if that'll be picked up on the audio. I don't know if any of you guys live in the suburbs, but there's always that fucking noise going on. Anyway, about this guy here, I knew he was around, but I couldn't find him. And that's why I went into the house, and I got surprised suddenly by him. And it worked out great, because he brought all his little friends with him. It actually couldn't have worked out better. because being in the house in a confined space, the chances of getting ambushed are extremely high. So all you have to do in this situation is get to higher ground and you win. I know that ordinarily all these guys are programmed to seek cover, but there's nowhere to hide, really. It's just a perfect vantage point for me. So I don't know about you, but I've never managed to deliver Frost to Louis Latruche without being ambushed by something. There's always something. So the worst part is trying to find the horse later. And of course I ran into a spider. You can see a little battle going on here. It's a mini battle between the AI, myself and the AI. So what happens is whenever I get onto higher ground where the spider knows that it cannot pathfind its way towards me, it runs away to try to seek cover. So sort of the balancing act here is to tempt the spider to get close enough that I can shoot it with the bow without getting close enough that, like here, that the spider could actually reach me. Anyway, so I think after this there was like 10 minutes of running around trying to find the horse. And that's where the mod Jackson's map markers really comes in handy. Like what I should have done is marked Frost before I did anything else. But unfortunately I didn't. Like Jackson's map markers is really invaluable. If you have a follower, for instance, follower wouldn't work with a sneaky archer, but if you have a follower and you don't know where they went, especially Lydia, she's a prime example. You can just look on the map. You mark her, look on the map. I think it's one of those most underrated mods that exists. So I finally found Frost way over here by the bridge. I was getting a little worried because it was getting late, and at night in Requiem, a lot of bad things come out. Especially vampires. Pretty sure they roam at night, even from early levels. So pay attention to the upper left corner of the screen here, because when I was playing I seem to recall there was a being of some kind, a creature that was going invisible.
You've done
It's
it.
toggling between visible and invisible. I don't know if you can see it just above
But you
Frost's head there.
your pay.
There's some kind of creature there, so it didn't get detected, but
Yes, here it is.
I'm pretty sure Louis Latruche is going to run right into it and die. You can say I go right into crouch mode, and I get immediate sneak experience, which means that there was something bad over there. But not my problem. If I'd planned this out better, I could have got a free horse out of that. I could have got Frost for free. I wouldn't have had to spend the 6 Gs. It's kind of a... I guess I didn't think it out properly. It was dumb. The only thing I was worried about in this sewer is that skeevers are just notorious for breaking your bow. Luckily, my shooting's on point here. This really, honestly, confused me. Because I went over tripwire, as you can see. And so I looked at my skill tree, because I've been taking sneak perks fairly steadily. Even though I'm level 15 there, I got light steps already. And it says you avoid triggering pressure plates or similar mechanisms. If that isn't a similar mechanism to a pressure plate, I really don't know what is. Like, I should be able to walk right over that with my perk. And if I can't, then I don't know why I can't, because that is a trap. It's plain and simple, it's a trap. Anyway, so this whole thing is going to be pretty epic. The idea was to do it stealth style, but that did not work out.
I'm going to find whoever did this, and when I do, is someone there?
What was that?
There is a lot of mercenaries here, by the way.
You've already lost. We are out. Those fools are actually fighting. My money's on the big one. Is someone there?
Hello? Who's there?
Okay, so I ran into some big problems here. I thought that I could wait this out until the sneak meter was gone. And what happened here was I got trapped, not just by these two guys, which was fine. It was that I got trapped on the furniture. So there's nothing you can really do. You try to move and you can't because the furniture is blocking you. It's like, I mean, it happens all the time in Skyrim, mainly because
Find us no place here.
you might see something in the game.
Victory is yours.
Like you're looking at, say you're looking at the opening to that wall, or you're looking at those chairs. To your eyes, as a human being, obviously, you might be thinking to yourself, I can walk around those chairs, I can knock them over. but it's totally different. In Skyrim, there's something called Havoc, and every single object sort of has a Havoc collision to it. So depending on how well the Bethesda programmers set the Havoc collision to that object, you may or may not be hitting an invisible barrier. So a chair might look tiny, but it might have a huge Havoc collision barrier where you can't get around it. And so in that situation, I was running into invisible objects. Basically, I'm running into chairs that can't be moved or knocked over like in real life. I'm running into a table that, you know what I mean? Like it looks like it shouldn't be as big as it actually is.
We're routed!
No one can save you now!
I had no idea I was going to do so much combat, one-handed combat.
I could do this all day! No! Not your best? Enough! Elf.
You saw an attack, cancel, power attack there, which Salty Shanty in his video series explains quite well. It's a little bit, takes a little bit of practice to get it working, but what happens is you're able to do an attack, and then if you time it right, you can do a power attack right off the attack.
You should have stayed in your precious self!
I think the only way I'm able to win these hand-to-hand battles is because these guys all have light armor like I do. So I thought that wasn't too bad, all things considered. And so I thought going outside would be a lot easier because I can just snipe these guys off. The problem is that even though I might be harder to detect at night, in a general sense, the computer and the AI has a gigantic advantage over me because I can't see anything, right? But I get detected immediately by the AI. You know, the AI can somehow see everything with perfect clarity, even though it's completely dark.
Don't have a chance.
There's got to be a way to even the odds here in terms of visibility.
I fought worse. I cannot best you.
can see I tried to do an attack, transition to a power attack, and it didn't work. That time it worked, but he moved away. All those power attacks completely drained me. Probably should have died here
I'll see you in pieces.
because of the sloppy gameplay. That's a perfect example right there, that exact moment there of Havoc collision. So even though my crosshair showed clearly that I was
Show me what
well above the cliff, the collision on that cliff was such that it was an invisible collision there. So I hit the cliff. It's just an example of bad physics there. Like the hitbox on that cliff should be down where the graphic is, or where the mesh is. I don't know how to describe it properly, but that happens all the time to archers because you're trying to go around corners, but you're hitting the corner. I don't think there's a lot of modders that know how to modify the collision anyway. I'm pretty sure I had to actually kill every single mercenary in this whole estate.
no place. I killed can't hide from me.
I mean, it's totally the opposite of stealth, right? But the other thing is, I'm still pretty low in terms of the perks that I have, so it'll get better.
Show me what you've got. Close.
I lost both bows, both of them, so I was relegated to... Sneaky Archer was relegated to this. I just can't believe how many mercenaries there are here. Yeah, after these guys lost their bows, for whatever reason, they didn't have any weapon,
No more.
or they didn't use their weapon.
You can't beat me. It's your best, huh? You don't have a chance. cannot best you.
So I was pretty sure that it was over at this point. And I actually could have just run away, but there were two more.
You can't beat me.
So you know the rule when fighting multiple enemies, try to find a choke point or a higher ground, and then find a way to isolate them.
This ends now.
I think if these guys were all clad in steel armor, it would have been impossible. I just wouldn't have the healing potions. And none of them were two-handed. That's another bonus. One two-handed power attack gets through and you're dead. So that was exciting.
Word on the street is Golden Glow's been hit. Good job, lass.
Word on the street is I killed like 45
Take
mercenaries.
a look at what you found. Arengod sold Golden Glow? What's that idiot thinking? He has no idea the extent of Maven's fury when she's been cut out of a deal. But I'm certain he'll find out. If only the parchment had the buyer's name instead of this odd symbol. Any idea what that might be? Blast. Well, I'll check my sources and speak to Mercer. But for now, you're off to speak to Maven Blackbriar. She asked for you by name.
So you're the one. You don't look so impressive. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Once again, Brynjolf sends me someone with no backbone, no determination. Faith. I don't have faith in anyone. All I care about is cause and effect. Did the job get done and was it done correctly? There's no gray area. Head to the Bannered Mare in Whiterun and look for Malus Marcius. He'll fill you in on all the details. One more time, in case I wasn't clear. You butcher this job and you will be sorry.
Yeah, it just gets boring after a while. These Nords threatening you.
Zell, you must take the lexicon from me. Please, take it now. You must bring it to Umbanchen, Zell. In the west, return it to them. It must
I don't
go
think
back.
there is actually a way to kill Maven. I mean, there might
It's
be,
yours
but
now. I won't take it
I don't
back.
think in the
I
vanilla
won't.
game, I don't think you're allowed to. Which I think pissed a lot of people off because, as you can see, she's quite nasty.
I won't go back to Umbanchen, Zell. I won't. Please help me. My job at the Riften
A lot of
Fishery
people
is
were
in
annoyed in
danger.
general
The owner, Wooly, said
when
that if
Skyrim
I
was
show up for
released
work in this condition one more
because
time, then I'm out.
the Thieves Guild
I
in
don't
lore,
mean to do
especially in
this to
Oblivion,
myself, but I can't
they were all
help
sort
it.
of about
I tried
being
school
Robin
a year
Hood,
ago, and ever since then,
and
I
in
can't
Skyrim
stop.
it's all very cutthroat
If
and
you could give me a
exploitative.
healing
And
potion,
you're working for
I
this
could
woman,
cleanse
Maven
this
Blackbriar,
poison from
who's
my body and get back to my life.
a piece of work.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
I think Wujita takes
Here,
my best
take
possible
this.
potion here, which
It's
kind of
all I
annoyed
can
me.
offer you for what
A
you've
fair
given
healing
me.
potion. Or she gave me a healing potion? I can't remember now. No, she gave me a silver ring. But the whole reason to do that little tiny little quest there is it opens up the ability to do the skooma drug dealer quest, and you get all that fish ingredients down at the docks. You get that all for free. It becomes marked as free to take, and that's really critical because you get all the salmon meat, so you can make 1,000 bestial stews. And just going on about the Thieves Guild there, though, some people actually liked the fact that they changed the mechanic from back in Cyrodiil, where the Thieves Guild was sort of a Robin Hood, rob from the rich, give to the poor, and changed it into a more realistic, sort of a darker view of thieves, which people would generally probably consider more realistic in terms of what thieves would do in a real situation.
Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be off. There once was a hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding to a right run from old Lorik Stead.
So I edited it out, but I'm pretty sure that even Sabjorn threatens you. So every single time you get into a dialogue, somebody threatens your life. It's pretty unwise. I think if you're dealing with a dangerous thief assassin like a Randall. So this is just the last part of the Thieves quest before the video ends, but you basically have to go and poison the meadery vats. And the beef stew and the bestial stew is critically important, of course. I couldn't remember if the skeevers kind of stair jump you here, so I just had my melee weapon ready. I should have reset the traps there. That would be a free way to kill them, to kill a spider, is to reset the bear trap as you leave. Probably another example of havoc collision there. Fortunately, I didn't get paralyzed. And the spider freaked me out a bit, not because I'm scared of spiders, but it was so large. And I thought it could chase me, but it can't get in these narrow corridors. It's too big. It can't get in there. So the last part of this dungeon is there's a bunch of skeevers here which are there to distract you from the main threat, which is there's a mage. Anyway, I knew I was going to lose my bow at some point. It was inevitable. Anyway, I thought it was wise to just basically run away, heal, and then come back and stealth kill him, which is exactly what I did. And that guy's actually fairly he can be fairly challenging. I know that Salty Shanty, or I don't know for sure, but I'm 99% sure that he actually lost a Dead is Dead character right there to that dude. And that's basically it. That's the quest. At that point, you just frame this guy. Oh, it's not Sabjorn. Sabjorn's the guy that you frame. I forget the name of the guy who's who's in on this, who gets you to do this quest. But at any rate, you're just doing that job for the Thieves Guild to progress the quest line. Yeah, so I thought it was a fun episode. Obviously not as much sneaky in the sneaky archer as I'd like. Way too many confrontations, but I guess that's just something that you have to deal with in the early game, at least, before you get the slow time archery perk. I thought things went fairly well. I got a good shield, elven shield with an elven sword. Things worked out. I had enough healing potions, and it was pretty good for leveling up, actually. And I'm just happy that I actually got through without dying, basically. So still only have 2 deaths to my name. One was a death glitch, so really 1 legit death. That's not too bad for 17 levels. So anyway, as always, leave your comments, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks.